What's going on, guys? Today I wanted to film a video and try and do a somewhat short video just explaining the different tics that I have and going into minor detail into like each specific tic. I'm also going to do it where I talk about the ones that I currently have right now and then ones that I had previously. So I have a list of them right here and just have some notes, so I'll just go through them. It's not an extremely long list. Some people I've noticed before, I've seen some other videos that have gone through the different tics that they have, and they're much more extensive. So I fortunately, I guess I could say, do not have an extremely long list, but there's a decent amount, especially adding in the previous tics as well. But without further ado, I'm going to start with the movement or motor tics. And the first one that I have on the list here is blinking, so eye blinking. That's an extremely common tic in most people who have Tourette syndrome. And it's that's one that I feel like has always been on and off throughout my life. And then another one is kind of jerking my arm towards something, so kind of doing that type of thing. And that would definitely be a weird one that I have. So that's another one that I came up with. And then jerking my legs. So you can't really see, but when I'm standing a lot of times, I'll kind of buckle my legs or whatever you want to call it, yeah, and jerk them. So that one's kind of weird as well. It kind of looks like I'm dancing when I'm walking around. So,
it looks like half a starfish. Sometimes, because sometimes you'll do it with both, like your arm and your leg.
Half a starfish. Yeah. And then another pretty common one for me at least, one that I do quite a bit is a whole, like, full body jerk. So kind of that type of thing. And that's one that I've had for quite a while, and that's a pretty prominent motor tic that I have. And then throwing my head back, so this type of thing. And oh, that's the other thing I wanted to mention is I wanted to kind of explain what it feels like with some of these ones. The ones I've gone through so far really don't bother me a whole lot. It's not like I wake up in the morning and have sore muscles or anything like that. Some of them, though, do cause a little bit of minor pain or discomfort, and I would say throwing my head back can be a little bit uncomfortable, especially if I do it very violently, but it's really not too bad right now and hasn't been for a while. And then lastly, for the current motor tics that I have is shaking my head, so kind of that type of thing. And it's not very uncomfortable, but I will say when I'm driving and things like that, those can definitely be sometimes problematic. Actually, that would be another one I could add to the list. Tourette's works in such a weird way, and so while I'm driving, and it's this, I mean, some people are going to be like, that is so dangerous, but I'll jerk my hands on the steering wheel, because for some reason, when you have Tourette's, and the people who watch this and have Tourette syndrome are going to understand this, is you do the things that you know you're not supposed to do or don't want to do, and that's what your body tries to get you to do. And hopefully I explained that in the best way possible, but I think some of you will understand. So the next thing I wanted to move into was the previous motor tics that I used to have. And one of them, or the first one, would be jerking my head down, so this type of thing. And that was one that I had for a while. Again, not super uncomfortable, but it was just a tic that I had for quite a while. And another one that I remember was hitting my arm into my side, so this type of thing. And it's kind of a weird looking tic, but yeah, that was a weird one. Again, it wasn't really uncomfortable or anything, didn't cause any pain. Next one, opening my mouth really wide. I always hated that tic, and every once in a while, if you think about, for people who have Tourette's, if you think about like the tics or see something that remind you of a tic you used to have, or you see something, you can pick up tics and like get them just from that. So like I have talked about things before, and then it caused me to start having that tic again. It's super weird how that works.
They're very suggestive.
Yeah, it is suggestive. Definitely a good word for it. So opening my mouth really wide, so like really overextending my mouth, pushing my lips together. This was a painful one, especially because I'd get actually like cuts on the inside of my lips. So I kind of do that type of thing where I push my lips together against my teeth, and it would actually, I'd have to every once in a while put like stuff on the inner side of my lips because they would actually get cut up and stuff, and that always sucked. And then I didn't know how to explain this one, but it was kind of like doing that type of thing with my nose. Gritting my teeth, that was always a crappy one. I hated the teeth gritting. So like rubbing your teeth together, which some people probably would hate that very much so. Biting my tongue or scraping against my teeth, and that was one where I kind of like scraped it against my teeth, and again that one would cause sometimes like that one would cause little cuts and things sometimes on my tongue, which can be very painful. Any type of cut inside your mouth is always painful, or burn or something like that. So and lastly, this one's super weird, is scratching the underside of my nose. It wasn't really one that I do a lot, but every once in a while I do it really hard and scratch, and it does hurt. I mean, if you try it with your nail, it's kind of uncomfortable, but that was a weird one. So, but that is all of the motor tics or the movement tics. And so I'll move on to the vocal tics. This list is not quite as long. For a lot of people who have Tourette's, and my heart really does go out to them. It's a long list, and there's a lot of different things that they deal with. So I don't have many, I don't know if audible is the right word for it, but many tics where I actually say words, where I yell out words. I also don't really deal with, or I did minorly deal with coprolalia, which is yelling and shouting obscenities. And it was just a little bit when I was younger. Sometimes I'd say different swear words and things like that, but it really was, I think I grew out of it for the most part. I haven't really dealt with it since. So, but the first vocal tic would be like grunting. So that type of thing. I wrote down reverse sniffing. So instead of like that, I do that type of thing. It's got like snot.
It's like a pug.
Yeah. That one, yeah, and those again, they're not that painful. It's just annoying, especially when you're in like public and stuff. It's not socially acceptable type of sound usually, but screeching, so like that type of thing. That one, I've always hated that, but for some reason that's like my loudest, most tic that I have. Just in your face type of thing, and so that one can kind of suck at times. One that I've dealt with a lot, which is a really weird one, is talking loudly as I talk. So sometimes like I'll do that type of thing, and I'll talk and it will get louder as I say things. And that one, yeah, it's super weird, but I always hated that tic. And then a common one is clearing my throat, so I don't need to obviously display that one for you. And then so that's mainly the vocal tics that I deal with right now. And so the previous vocal tics that I had, this one I hated always, was snorting. So it sounded like a pig, just this was a terrible one as well, was a voice crack. So it's kind of like the one where I start talking loudly, but instead I would like do that type of thing, and my voice would crack as I'm talking. So that was a really annoying one as well. Smacking my teeth together, it's kind of a vocal tic, I guess, but doing that type of thing, I figured it's kind of a mix of both, but it makes a sound, so maybe I put that in the wrong category. But honestly, that was all I had. Those are all of the previous vocal tics I remember. Like I said, I dealt with some yelling out words and saying different things, but I never had specific words that I really said always. It kind of just depended. But yeah, that covers basically everything. I'm sure there's been a million more tics that I've had in the past, and because they just, people with Tourette's, again, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They change so frequently and stuff. Some you'll have for years at a time, some you'll just have for a week or two, or something like that. But yeah, those are the ones that I remember. And like I said, I just wanted to make a quick short video. I think it's a short video, but and tell you guys about that and kind of just display that for you. And if you guys have any other ideas that you want me to film that has anything to do with my Tourette's or anything like that, feel free to comment. And also, if you want as well, comment down what like weird funny tics that you guys have dealt with, and or if you've ever had a tic before, because I know a lot of people have tic disorders but they don't have Tourette syndrome. So but yeah, I appreciate you guys watching the video, and hopefully you got something out of it, and we'll catch you in the next one then. Thanks. See ya.